Hello, everyone. Welcome to the live Splintered Spirits. I'm gonna get it queued up on YouTube. There you are. There it is.
There might be a delay here between this and YouTube, almost like, they're
Okay.
gonna be. I'm seeing people pop up. I am live on TikTok as well, but if you want the full experience, you might want to go to YT. Hello, everybody.
There we go. There it is.
I like it. People are coming here. People are going everywhere. Let's let it roll for a minute. Get some bodies in here. I can stretch. Take a sip of my coffee.
Bodies.
They can hear it.
Get some bodies. Living bodies, though.
Did you just type hello, or is that a fake?
No, that's me.
Okay. Again, everybody, if you're watching me on
skull, that makes sense. Don't worry about it. Just watch the spinning skull.
That's it. And again, if anybody's watching me on TikTok and you can hear us on there, you want the full experience, go to YT or even Facebook or Twitch. We're live everywhere. Or splinteredspirits.com. You can check it live there, but you won't be able to tap in.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Everyone's like, oh my God, we can hear you, but it's just a spinning skull. We know. Oh, everyone can see and hear you. I just got the message. Ah, shit. Do I look bonita?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Splintered Spirits Live.
Well, it looks good on the YTs.
Does it? Cool.
Yeah.
I like this. We're trying something new. We always try new tech here at Splintered Spirits. We wanted to try things that work out, give the best experience for a podcast that's also jumping on streaming,
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes, man. John, what's going on? What's the latest?
Oh, I'll tell you what. The latest was today here at the tower. The spirits knocked over the spirit board and sent it down to the first floor.
Where is it? Like, where
it's still
is the spirit board? So it's hanging up, but where was it that it knocked it down?
It was on the shelf.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, we have a spirit in the next episode coming up that knocks down one of your planchettes from the wall or from the ceiling,
which is pretty wild.
Gonna give a little tease of that too coming up. I think I dropped that this weekend, a little teaser for that one too, so you can see it, which is pretty wild.
Yeah, the taped episodes, the ones that are coming up are my favorite. I mean, they're all good, obviously.
Let's remind everybody what we're doing here. So the whole point of this podcast is just to do a deeper dive on what spirits are, because for me, I find it fascinating what John can do and what he's doing, and what we've learned so far. And John's theory of spirits, as you know, is that they are the fractured memories of the living that may or may not be attached to the energy that we all carry within us that disperses when we pass. That's the idea behind it. And we're trying to prove that theory, and we've tried it in a lot of different ways, right? So just to catch you up so far, if you haven't listened to the podcast, wherever podcasts are, we do it. Subscribe. We need to get those numbers up, by the way. We need to get up. I want to hit 10,000 subscribers. 10,000. We're not there yet.
That'd be awesome.
We got to do it. It would be great. But anyway, so where we're at right now, right? There's a lot of ways to figure out what's happening. First, understanding what spirits are, or how you go about investigating spirits, which is
the theory, all of the broad, and that's something I'd like to stress. we're deep diving here. So we are going to discuss all the old theories of what spirits are, the people who have studied this for years, what their knowledge on what spirits are, and then compare it to what's going on with me.
That's right. And we've got what's really cool is in some of the cases now we've sort of corroborated some of the stories or sort of what's going on, which you've never done before by
No,
bringing in
no.
a
On a
medium.
small scale, yes. I've had my mods with me.
Right.
Like
As
I'll have my mods with
eyewitnesses,
me on
but
certain adventures.
eyewitnesses are definitely one piece, like
Yeah.
of the
But
of it.
these eyewitnesses that you're talking about are people that have no connections to me.
That's right.
So there's no say polarization towards me and what's going on. These are neutral and maybe even skeptics. So
That's right. And it's with Kathy Nadal, who is a medium who we've brought on now for 2 episodes, and she will be in one more episode coming up, and maybe sometime in the future we'll do some other stuff with her. But we had her in 3 different sort of scenarios to, one, for me, understand what a medium is and give a little history of her as a person, and then meet with John in 2 different locations. And she sort of came up with the same thing in both locations, which is she too sort of felt the spirits that you've been speaking to. So that right there, for one, and it's not a definitive thing, but it certainly leads towards the direction of it's not just some phone app making noises. There's something there, um, and it's something there connected to you, because I've turned on that phone app and I don't get shit. So it's like, or it's just the same old stupid stuff. So it's really kind of wild, like how this is all playing out. What we've got coming up, which is really fun, is Kathy. We take her to the fireplace room, which a lot of your viewers will know. Super haunted place, hysterical place with with an incredibly mean spirit who has a lot of mean stuff to say to us in there too, which is wonderful. He didn't disappoint at all,
no.
and it's really great. And she really feels it. She gets like real dark vibes in there. She gets cold. She gets this real sense of something going on. And yeah, man, it's a great place for us to have seen that, to corroborate that story. And then from there, now we're going into like sort of after that, we'll be going into like, okay, let's check other locations, try to find other witnesses, and test other theories. We're working on that now. We're working on planning all those things. But, I think what's really great, I think that's funny, is we've got something getting thrown or dropped in the next episode. Something gets knocked over. You had something get knocked over here. How do you, John, feel like what is that? How do they do that? How are they knocking things over?
That
Like in your experience, what is that? Why are some able to do it, and who's able to do it?
my leading theory, again, it's just a theory, is that certain frequencies that these spirits emit allow them to manipulate this world and these world frequencies, if you will. And I believe that plays a big role into it. And I've seen it in many ways. I've seen it one-offs where they just knock something off, where they move something. I've seen that. And then I've seen it where they continuously do it in a span of a minute, where it's not just, a one-off thing. Like I've been, for example, back to the fireplace room. I've sat there. I mean, I believe I have the videos up on YouTube where they would just knock candles off like every like 20 seconds. Yeah, I'd get up, I'd fix one, relight it, bam, they knock it off again. And some even, you can see them moving too, which is wild. Like you see them like move and then go,
So
like
how
they're
do you?
being manipulated.
All right, but how do they? How are they? How do you think they're? How can they touch something in the physical thing, in the physical realm? How
Yeah,
do they do it? Like, what is your
I
thing?
honestly, I
I,
think it's a frequency. I think it's
a
just a
fr-
frequency that they're tapping into.
okay.
I really do, and it's I mean that's the best explanation I have for it because it's all theories.
How many of you guys out there have ever had things knocked over by ghosts? If anybody wants to chime in, I'd
It's
love
a
to
good
hear it.
question.
Or spirits. Anybody ever feel, not see or hear? But this is sort of a good thing to talk about. Has anybody ever felt it?
Yeah.
And I got a story that we're going to drop that someone left on splinteredspirits.com, to which, if you haven't, be sure to go there and leave us your ghost stories, because we want to tell them and talk about them here on the live. And hello, everyone on TikTok. If you're watching, you get a better experience for this on the YTs, but go to Splintered Spirits and tell us your ghost stories. But let's talk about this today, about the physical. So what are, anybody out there have a story to share about, you know, something that you've had drop, or, have you ever been touched by a ghost? Not touched
Naughty,
by an
naughty.
angel, not by an angel, touched by a ghost.
Seventh heaven.
Anyone? Share your ghost stories. There might be a delay from when I say this to when I see it, but it's
Had a heavy pewter candlestick thrown at you. Wow. Straight up yeeted. Hail.
I think we're gonna read a story that Hale sent us on the website, which is, oh, look at this one though. This one's really crazy. Like, my
Oh.
late husband turns our family photo around. He was angry when he passed.
Angry at
Oofa.
you, Jenny? No. Can't see that happening.
Yeah, why? Why? What is it about Jenny that would make her husband angry at her? What did she
Oh,
do?
I don't know, Jenny.
Jenny, what did you do?
What could have she done?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Well, this is interesting. Like, glass breaking sounds, but no glass broken.
Yeah.
All right, Lynn. It's a
Yeah.
little weird to hear glass breaking. Hey, what's this one? Oh, that's
That's a
just Lynn.
common thing though. Hearing sounds of things that are happening, but there's no effect. Like hearing
Jackie B
glass
says.
break.
Jackie
You
says
hear the
she's had
cause,
it.
but not the effect, I guess.
Jackie B says, I've had my feet touched. Felt ghost cats jump on my bed.
Okay, that's common. You have your feet touched.
This is
Oh.
like an OnlyFans thing going on with
Yeah, it's not all about
Jackie
only feet,
B.
baby.
She's getting those feet touched. Um, it's really interesting. All right, that's cool. I don't think I've ever been felt by a ghost or touched or felt anything. What's this? Here's another one.
Or maybe you
Um,
didn't know it was happening.
a lid for a cooking pot flipped off the counter. Were you boiling water though, or something? Was there anything cooking when that happened?
So my question is, was there condensation on the lid? Because condensation can make things move. I'm sure many of you have cracked open a can of soda or a cold beverage on a cold day, a hot day, put it on the table, and then it starts to move. That's condensation. That's actual. That's physics in play. So the pot lid could have been that.
Science, y'all.
Gotta love science.
Here's another one. What's this? What's Heather Ann have to say? Heard what sounded like metal shelves falling and glass breaking in the basement. Went down there and there was nothing on the ground.
Oh shit.
It's weird, dude. You know what that means?
Yeah.
Time to move, Heather Ann. Time to move. You got some ghosts in that basement.
Yep.
I mean, it's weird, man. If you got I don't know, dude. Like, if you've got a lot of shit getting thrown around or breaking, you can't understand it. It just sort of becomes, what are you doing here?
That's when you lose square footage in your home.
Yeah, right.
The door gets locked and never opened again.
It's just
You know.
insane. I mean, but now here's the other thing that so based on some of the stuff we talked about, This is a real long ass story. And I think it was written by one of your fans here, one of our fans here. I'm blanking. I'm trying to find her. Hale. Yeah. Yeah, because she puts in a story. This is a long ass story. And she even apologized for how long this is. So look, Hale, if you're gonna leave us a ghost story, let's not leave a book next time, guys. But we want your ghost stories. But let's try to.
But we want details. But we don't
want
want
detail.
Long,
but let's be. All right. So, but here's why I want to bring this story up, because I think there's some really. You'll see where I'm going with it. All right. So look, says the first place I lived when I moved out of my parents' place in 2002 ended up being haunted. It was a 3-bedroom, 1-bath apartment above a natural, holistic health food store right across the street from the river that ran beside the city I grew up in. See, like that. These are details that we don't necessarily.
Actually, no. There's a reason
you
why
like
she
the river
put that.
thing?
There's a reason why she put the water in there. Okay.
Okay. The area of town wasn't the greatest, but rent was. I moved in in the early fall.
That wasn't needed.
Yeah. right. The area of town wasn't the greatest, but rent was. Again, I don't know if the rent has anything to do with spirits. Maybe the quality of the spirit has to do with how much the rent was.
Yeah, bougie ass spirits.
Right. I moved in the early fall with a good friend and friend of hers. Neither roommate was around much to do work. I've included a picture of the drawings of which the place was laid out. Now, this is like a little bit. I have no idea why she felt we needed a floor plan.
Hold on, no, I want to see the floor plan.
Well, here it's like
there's a delay for me right now. I'm about to see it on YouTube.
Yeah, let me see if I
here
can.
It comes. Here it comes. Hold on.
There's
you can make it bigger on here.
I'm gonna make it bigger here. I'll make it bigger here for you for a second.
Okay.
Here's her floor plan, which is like.
Okay, that's actually a really good floor plan, Hal.
I know. So now we can paint the picture of it.
Are you a fucking architect?
Right. I don't know, dude. Imagine if you hired an architect. Let's not go crazy though. If you hired an architect and they gave you this as their floor plan for your house, I think you'd be a little upset.
I love it. I love everything about this right now.
All right. So the first instance that took place was when we had thrown a small housewarming party a week into living there once we were all moved in and set up. We were in the living room having drinks, and we had only been there for about an hour, maybe a drink or two in, so no one was inebriated. It wasn't a crazy get-together, just chilling, talking and sipping. We hadn't even turned music on yet. When all 8 of us heard a whoosh, bam, and clatter come from the kitchen about 20 feet away. We all kind of froze and walked to the kitchen to figure out what it was, and laying in the middle of the floor was the phone book and the phone. Just to remember, it was 2002, so it was a corded phone. We were talking late 90s phone that my parents had given to us to use, laying on the floor in the middle of the kitchen about 8 feet from where they had been sitting on the counter. The force of it even ripped the phone line cord out of the wall jack. We have no explanation. We were all in the living room, 20 feet away. We had no pets, no windows open. There weren't even windows on that side, and the amount of wind force required to move them like that would have torn the kitchen apart. But nothing else was
disturbed.
Right. So nothing else was moved or disturbed. All right. So we got one. So the first thing we got is a phone getting ripped off the wall, and they don't know why. A couple months later, I was home alone in a set. I told you this is long. This is giving us a good content, but I guess it's silly. A couple months later, I was home alone on a Saturday, and I was in the living room in a recliner reading. Both roommates were working. I heard a scraping noise and then a heavy pewter spiral candle holder that was on the top of the stereo speaker, was sat at a coffee table in the corner of the room, about 8 feet away from where I was sitting, came flying across the living room and landed in the middle of the room, about 2 feet from the recliner. So this is what she was posted before, right? She just said this before, like she threw out this pewter candle.
Yeah.
It stuck with her. I wonder if she still has it. If you still have it, I think you should sell it, or foist it on somebody you hate if it's a flying candlestick.
I'll take Lumir.
Oh yeah, send it to John. He'll put it up there in the haunted thing. The last occurrence happened shortly after the relationship between all of us dissolved. Tensions were, now this is what I want to talk about, right? You might see where I'm going with this. Tensions were high, and we were all in the process of looking to move out, but hadn't started to yet. I was coming home from work at about 5:10 and was walking up the stairs, led to the door of the apartment. We saw her wonderful stick figure of leading up to the door, by the way, in case you guys forgot.
Great.
It's beautiful. It's Picasso.
Love it.
These stairs had no railings on it. It was about a straight drop, probably 15 to 20 feet over the side of the landing at the top. When I just heard the landing of the door, stand on my back. Okay. when I felt two hands in the middle of my back push me hard. I went flying forward and twisted towards the edge of the landing. I managed to grab onto the door handle and kept myself from falling the 15, 20 feet onto the packed dirt bottom. It was at this point that I was done. Okay, I pulled a pin and broke my part of the lease early. I moved home. First of all, it's the smartest thing she's ever said so far right there.
Yeah.
This is where I agree with you 100%. I'm surprised it took a phone ripped off the wall and a candlestick getting flown at you. And now, I guess 3 times the charm, you get pushed up the stairs to tell you it's time to move. But at least you did it. Kudos to you. Now, it gets more. Okay. So she moved home. Now, here's where the plot twist happens. There's a plot twist. This would be like the Sixth Sense. At the time I was a legal secretary, one of the lawyers in the firm was in the middle of a murder trial. While I was in the middle of moving out, he called me in the coffee room one afternoon. He asked me if I was still living in the apartment above that business. I said yes, but that I was currently in the process of moving due to things that had happened to me there and the breakdown of the friendships of roommates. I asked him why he wanted to know. He then asked me what things had happened there, and I gave him a rundown of the things that I experienced, and again asked why he wanted to know. He got this funny little smile and then said that he was currently in a murder trial and that the dead guy had been found in that apartment. Then continued to add that he had been found in the middle of August the year before and had been dead for weeks before being found. There was no AC in this apartment, so we're talking mid 80s to high 90s for temps in the summer, and that every window in the place had been closed. Now, I mean, that's only for a smell purpose. I don't know what the details of that is, but then he told me that he had been found under the far right window in the living room, closest to my room. And here's the real kicker. The apartment was outdated in carpet, clothes storage, and wall paint. The bedrooms were all old 70s, 80s tile. This sounds like a shit apartment, by the way. The living room had been noticeably updated recently and had brand new paint and carpet, as well as the kitchen and bathroom had all been recently updated. Blah, blah, blah. He also mentioned to me that the kitchen and bathroom had been key points in the crime scene. Needless to say, I'm glad I ended up noping the hell out of there. I like how you put your name in that. It's great. Now, she says there was somebody who was murdered there. One, I don't know what the deal is on renting. I mean, I guess they don't need to disclose that, there was a murder.
Depends on the state, country, all that.
I guess, I don't know.
Those are all laws depending on where you're at.
Yeah, it's crazy. But here's where, based on everything I've learned from this process of Splintered Spirits with you, when things are getting thrown and moved and tensions are high, are we talking about a spirit, or is our friend Hale quite possibly a poltergeist agent? Meaning the high tension, she's the one creating things moving. She's unbeknownst to her.
So, well, first, I would the poltergeist agent part, I would probably put that to the wayside, because I guess before the high tensions, there was activity. The phone book, the phone, and
no, she didn't tell us there was no tension. I mean, it's like tensions had to start. We don't know how stressed she was living with these people or anything.
Hell, when the phone book and the phone and the candlestick were moved and thrown, were their tensions starting to build, or was things fine?
Were you stressed out at work? Were you stressed out about anything? Were you dating some guy who was a real dick? Like, what's going on? She says, okay, look, I can show you this.
Well, I mean, when those first two things happened, the first two things, not you getting pushed, the first two things were tensions high between you and your roommates,
or anything in your life. Was there any stress in your life when you moved into this place until you moved out?
Okay, relationships were good. They've only been there for a week. Okay. Now, when you were pushed, did you feel like that was an act of aggression towards you? When I mean, like, like the second it happened, did you get the feelings like, oh shit, whatever this is after me?
And guys, Splintered Spirits. That's where you find us. Splintered Spirits everywhere. On YT, Facebook, Twitch.
The first two things were good. Life was good, normal life stress. You know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Keep going, John.
That's why I'm curious. I'm curious if this was like, if she felt like this was like a direct assault against her, or did she think she was in the wrong place, wrong time, sort of deal? You know, it was feeling like it was personally needed you to leave. Okay, so the girls. Here's my next question: the girls, did they experience anything physical like you did?
Her roommates we're talking about?
Yeah, or roommates? Yep. Yeah, the two roommates, the two youths.
The two Utes.
My mind is still blown that that's Ralph Macchio in that. I just don't. My brain doesn't associate him in that movie. Funny enough, isn't that
Yeah,
weird?
he's great though, right? You know, he's like I
Yeah, he
think
was
he's like
great.
80 years old,
He
by
was
the way.
great.
He doesn't age.
No, he doesn't. Not at all. The only thing that happened was the
Now
okay.
why so
All
okay.
right.
All right,
So
but then why would that be, right?
so I'm wondering. You know what this sounds more like? This sounds more like, and Hale, correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like the two roommates were more against you than the three of you against each other. I mean, there might have been a fight triangle going on, but it seems more like the two roommates were more polarized against you. And the entity in question, the one dead in the apartment, could be feeding off that. So I'm going to take a guess there and say that whatever social situation was happening between the three of them, how much you want to bet Hale was getting ganged up on?
Hey now.
Let's see if that's right. Let's see if that's right. It could be wrong.
Yeah, what about these girls? I love good gossip, by the way. Let's talk
Yeah, spill the
let's
tea,
talk the
yo.
personal.
Spill the
Yeah, spill
tea.
the tea. Let's get the personal drama. Like these girls like total.
Yes, it was that. It caused the breakdown. Makes sense.
Were we stealing each other's like boyfriends or sandwiches out of the fridge or was there someone who wasn't doing the dishes?
I guarantee, you know how it started? I guarantee the other two girls weren't pulling their weight properly. They probably paid their rent, but they were probably slobs. Sink full of dishes, leaving the common areas a mess. Hale was just trying to have a normal apartment. I guarantee that's how it went. And then the two girls just ganged up on her.
Is that true here?
Let's see if that's correct.
Or was it you? Did you do something that you don't want to tell us? You can tell us. This is a safe space. This is a safe space here. You can tell us and however many people are listening.
Stealing batteries from vibrators isn't nice.
You got to clean that after you use it.
Well, I mean, they're sharing toys. That's a
I don't know
completely
what's
different
going on
story.
with Hale.
It was a guy. It was a girl and a gay guy. He used my face soap for his body soap.
Wait a minute. This feels like a Three's Company episode. Is this real life?
Come and knock on our door.
That's showing our age, by the way. But I'm assuming a lot of people in this
Yeah,
chat
it
gets it.
is. Yeah, it is.
Um,
He was a slob, and he would come home and make a mess and leave for work again. Okay. Yeah, it makes sense. So basically, what ended up happening was, I guarantee, work. The two of them are probably like,
I don't know. This story doesn't have, I've never met a gay guy who's a slob.
I have, I
You
have,
have?
I have,
That's rare.
I have, dude. Let me tell you something. It's not rare. It's actually very common.
Well, I
It's
guess I
just
don't know a
that
lot of gay guys, but the ones I do are
we
not
have
slobs.
stereotypes of gay people is what it is. Isn't that crazy? But yes, you can find a gay messy guy. You straight
Outrageous.
up can. They're so
Outrageous.
common. That shit
It's
you
funny.
not. Uh huh. It is.
Oh, here's somebody who I love this, by the way. Eric Cassell. I
Fuck
don't know
you.
what threes. I have no idea I don't know what Three's Company is. There it is. See, it's already a date.
Showing our
Three's
age.
Three's Company is a show, an old sitcom that would
70s?
never air today.
No.
Never could you make it. The
No.
whole thing was about a guy living with two girls, and he had to pretend he was gay so that the landlord wouldn't throw him out because it was so risque for a man to live with two girls. And every time he was acting gay, it was the most homophobic thing you
Yep.
could ever see on TV. Like, it would never, ever see it on
Nope.
television today.
Like the other greatest television work of art, Facts of Life.
Oh, my God. Could you
That's my
imagine? Like, you
show,
can't do
man.
that stuff.
You can't. That was my show. I love Facts of Life.
Did you really?
Oh, I fucking loved every second of it. I thought it was great. It was horrible,
Oh, yeah.
but it was amazing at the same time.
Yeah. The times are
different.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. But anyway, look,
Facts of
first
Life.
of all,
The
Hale,
Facts of Life.
what do we come down to? What do we determine Hale's issue is here, and what do we
So
think?
honestly, I think that the two roommates were feeding that entity. You got to think of it. You also got to think of it like what is it? Stockholm syndrome, when somebody gets kidnapped and then they start
They fall in love
appealing
with their
towards the
captor.
Yeah.
That's when you fall in love, right?
Yeah, think of it more like all of a sudden here's a spirit. I guess because it did die there. You know, he died there. He's not going anywhere. He's in the apartment. You know, he doesn't want to go anywhere. There's probably a lot of dark shit going on with him. And then all of a sudden he has three new roommates. So all of a sudden, whether he likes them or not, he's going to start developing a relationship with them, whether the roommates know it or not. And then all of a sudden, trouble in paradise.
You know
There's
what
a
I'd love
messy
to
gay
know?
guy.
I'd love to know. We'll ask her this offline because I don't think we could share it. But man, wouldn't it be great to know if anything happened in that apartment since?
Oh, that would be
That would
very
be like,
interesting.
right?
Yeah,
That would be
yeah.
really interesting to find out.
If other people had
Hale, shoot us a
experiences
note.
in there.
Shoot us a note if you feel comfortable telling us what that address was, since you no longer live there, and maybe we can do a little digging.
Yeah.
And seeing if we could find out and see if there's been any other, because that would then really sort of corroborate that story, right? It'd be crazy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, 100%.
Then they need to just burn that building to the ground.
Yep.
I think it's just me.
That's it.
That's
Burn
weird
the whole
stuff.
thing. But that's what I think's going on there. I really do. I really think that entity was being fed off feeding off the other two. And if they both had an issue with Hale, that's why I was able to pinpoint that. It's just, what Hale gave us was a pretty damn good picture. We just needed a couple more pieces of the information.
That was a great story. Thank you, Hale, for sharing that online. And again, guys, it's really anybody. We need more stories. Whenever you can, you just go to the website. You can input your ghost stories, ask us questions, and we'll try to get to them as many as we can. But we want more experiences, more things to talk about. If you want to put your evidence in there, pictures, videos, we'll share it. We'll show it. We'll talk about it, because this is what this is for. We're trying to gather as much information as possible to try to see if John's theory of what spirits are makes sense and is accurate. What else can we tell you here? So one of the things that we're looking to do, and we're probably going to get, it probably won't be for another month or so, but really getting into how tech has changed in paranormal investigations and talking. I mean, could John be doing what he's doing, before we had an app that could talk to him?
Guess what, Gary? We're going to be able to test that to the fullest, because something that I am adding to my everyday documentation on TikTok and going to be using in other things like, Splintered Spirits, is a talk boy.
What is that?
You don't remember what a talk boy is?
Are you? Please
Credit
remind me.
Card, you got it. But you remember in Home Alone 2 when he?
Are you talking about the thing where you like turn it to like a cow and you pull it and it's like?
It's a talk boy. It's a recorder. So you can pull out the mic. You can
Okay.
play back. You can erase. I have not a remake, an actual talk boy, and I have another device that is going to digitize the recording on the tape. So I'll be able to take it out, put it in, turn the tape into a WAV file, and actually go through EVP.
All right, that'll be great. So let's
Yeah.
figure that out. That's fun.
Yeah.
Here's another thing I want to try with John, which we're going to be talking about in the coming episodes a little bit. And we talked about this in, I think it might be in episode 9 or something, but it's like meditation. Channeling is the wrong word because that means something different, but sort of harnessing your focus
Yeah.
to the belief system of, can that strengthen your ability or your magnetic field to talk to spirits in a better way. Have you ever done meditation, like with someone?
Yes.
Like, have you done that?
Yes.
How'd that go? What was that experience like?
So usually I would go, and if you would call it meditation, I'd go up after extreme sessions in the fireplace room, in the abandoned side, and even sometimes at Buckout, I will go on my roof and just sit in silence. Literally just sit and concentrate and almost like just rebalance myself out, if you will, mentally. And I actually still do that to this day. I actually do it here sometimes. I'll go up on the third floor and I'll just, I
Who
do it. I
wants
do
to
it quite
see?
quite often.
Who wants to listen to a meditation session with John? Who would like to see that? If we bring someone in, have him meditate, walk them through the questions. Probably be something. It's probably an episode where you can listen to at night. It'll help you go to sleep. Like really listen to it. But then, right after that, turn on the apps
Yeah,
and see if
see
you
what pops.
see what pops. See if
Yeah,
we get anything harder hitting. And who would want to? Does that sound interesting to anybody? I'm just
yeah.
curious.
I
This
like
is
the idea.
we can do live polling here. This is what's great about this.
Yeah,
Yes, me. Everyone wants to hear it. Everyone wants to see. I mean, I would just love. We'd have to set the scene. We'd have to shoot it perfectly too, right? Where could
yeah.
you do? Could we do that in your office? Probably in your office, right? Or
Probably.
are
Yeah,
there any gurus in that building? I feel like your building might even have some.
maybe there might be some like holistic meditation people in here. There may. I could find out.
Because that might be in that. That might be really fun to just see. And that could be sort of a test too, right? Like about you and how we communicate.
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. I don't know. Anybody on TikTok feel the same way? Be pretty cool.
Oh, 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 oh.
Easy. Don't get crazy.
Yeah, right. Trying to get it on the charger and it's yanking it down. Okay, there
Again,
we
if you're
go.
listening on if you're watching on TikTok, you get the full experience of what we're seeing here, of this live podcast on the YT, on Facebook, on Twitch. You can even watch it at splinterspirits.com. We're live on our own website, which is always fun. Which, by the way, guys, come on, listen to the podcast, subscribe, tell your friends. We need to get these viewers up. We need to get those listeners up. We need to get those subscribers up. Please do it. Because we'd like to keep this going. I don't know about you. I'm having fun with it. And
Yeah, I think it's great.
we're getting more guests, more interesting topics. But the bigger we get, the better the guests will be.
Yep.
And the deeper we'll be getting to what happens to us when we pass. Maybe that's true. I don't know if that's true or not, but we're certainly going to try because it is crazy.
Definitely is.
What else?
Sure.
What else can we talk about? What else do we have to say to the good people today?
What
else you want to get into? Have you made any new? Has anything new happened in your documentation that's been surprising as of late?
Yes. The most notable thing so far has been this woman in the mirror. that keeps on appearing. Remember, I don't know if I showed you that.
Yeah, the one that we thought looked like my
Yes,
grandmother. Yeah,
yes,
your great grandmother.
yes, yep. And she changes forms. It's still that same shape almost, but we've seen her younger, we've seen her older. Some people see multiple entities in that mirror that I don't see, but I do see the one that that I've been seeing. She disappears, she reappears, she does it in the same session. Sometimes she looks like she's farther back in the mirror, other times she looks like she's close up or looking at the mirror and we're seeing her reflection. Um it's wild, and that's been one of the, we call her Mary Sue.
Yeah, people, you have fans that have seen it and they see it happening, so that's pretty wild. What
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
is this one of the few or the first regular, what do you call it? Like an apparition, I guess? I guess that's how I would define like an
Yeah.
actual apparition, right? Like the
That
scene.
this would be the third that I have seen here
Right.
in
There's
the
the one on
tower.
the road that you saw once, right? The
Yeah.
woman on the road that I remember that
No, no,
story.
I thought you meant in the tower itself.
Oh, no, no, no.
Oh, no, no, no. I seen I this is,
You've
she
seen a
would
lot,
be like, let's see. One, two, three,
but on the
four.
regular. But on the
Yeah.
regular.
On the, well, because some of these I haven't seen in years, but I used to see them
Okay.
on the regular. One, two, three, four. She would be like the seventh or the eighth.
Okay. So what is it? What is unique about this one in the mirror?
Actually,
What do you?
even
What do you
more if we're counting mirrors. More,
but
you
what is it?
know.
What is there anything unique about this particular mirror one?
So what's really unique about her is she's interactive. Like you see her mouth
Uh,
move, you see her eyes close and open. You'll see her turning her head. Things of that nature. Very unique for something in the mirror to actually do that. It's like something you'd see out of a movie. To be honest with you, it's movie worthy. It's wild.
what have you? Do you think you're talking to this spirit in any way?
At times, yes. Yeah. At times, yeah. And then other times it's like almost like it's like she's not even, registering that that we're looking at her. It's odd.
That is creepy.
Yeah.
That is creepy. Um, what do you use? Like, should we have spirits on now? Should we see what they have to say if they like the podcast? What do you think?
Yeah, I can fire them up.
I always like hearing what they have to say because it always freaks me out a little if they actually know me or hear my name. Because I've been there. And it's strange, guys. It's strange. What were you using today on your live?
Vox and Ghost Tube.
So the classics.
You want me to use both of those?
Whatever you want. I like that new one who makes funny. I always like the ones who are a little bit nasty. I think they keep it interesting.
Oh, the little bits. I mean, little bites is what I call that spirit because it doesn't seem to know its name. It can't remember its name.
Could you imagine if that was Edward able to travel?
That would be insane. But if it was Edward able to travel, we'd know it. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, because it's not the same voice.
It's not the same voice. The attitude is different. Like the attitude is very different. This almost, I mean, dare I say a preteen, like you're ugly, you're fat.
Yeah, it's great. It's so great.
You know what I mean? Where it's like
Yeah.
Edward, that isn't Edward. Edward's clever and
She's really negging.
maniacal.
She's really negging you. Your glasses.
Yeah.
And what was it today that I thought was hysterical? It's like, "What up, big boy?" or "Big bites."
Well, so it said, "What up, big bites?"
It's great.
Well, it said, "Hello, big bites" or something like that.
So great.
Which shows intelligence.
It's so great.
Because then it's turning my joke name for the entity against me is what it did.
That's so strange to me that I can do, like, I can't figure it out. I just can't figure out how
The strong
that.
ones can do that, and I think they're strong because they have more of these memories than others. So it's more of a complete version of it.
Even if the app was able to hear your words and spit them back out at you, to be as sophisticated enough to do the bit, to do a joke.
It's
I
not. It's
just
not.
can't.
That
They would be
sort
the
of
greatest
AI.
They would be the greatest programmers in history, and it's
Exactly.
like they're
That
not.
sort of AI is not available to the general public yet, like that. It exists, and this is an AI anyway, but it would need a language model to do that, and it
Yeah.
would need to be sophisticated.
By the way,
That's the
there's
type
some
of.
there's some super sophisticated. Dude, have you seen the one?
Listen,
There's one.
they're super sophisticated, but they're not going to cost you $12 a year. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
yeah. But there's one
Yeah.
you can get on Google. It's like Notebook, I want to say it is. I might be wrong on that, guys. But if I was to type information and say, here's everything about you, here's everything about me, create a podcast, right? It would have a man and a woman start having a conversation with each other about spirits. And I swear to you, I'm going to do it for you and I'm going to send it to you and you're going to freak out. It's the most realistic sounding people
Oh
talking
yeah.
about it. Is absolutely nuts.
So
Yeah.
one thing that me and Uncle Gary have both been playing with is creating our own spirit box app. For you. All right. Now, of course, that takes a lot of work and whatnot, but we have both had success in that field using AI.
Yeah.
Literally using AI. I have 4 different programs that I can build an app using. Just having them each doing the work of the developer. They each do a separate thing, and it's insane how it all works. The AI is just nuts what you can do these days.
It is nuts. And it's like I've gotten really close, but it still doesn't deliver. We're not there yet. It's not.
Yeah.
We're not there yet, but we'll get there and figure it out. But it's got to feel open, random and open. Like they can manipulate it, and we're not. It's not forced.
And then you got to watch what APK keys get put in, because I think you're probably on the same step that I am.
Yeah.
And that's where it gets tricky. That's where if implementing the wrong keys can give us bullshit.
Right. Right.
Can give us just straight horse shit that's not realistic or good.
Yeah.
So, we need something that's actually doing what it's programmed to do, not, spitting out randomness.
You're getting a lot of action in that tower today.
Yeah.
They're mouthy.
Yeah, they are mouthy. Yeah, I'm local. Yeah. I just heard I'm a local. Oh yeah, Spirit, would you work here? What happened? I talked about you and now you stopped? Default.
Some people get camera shy. They don't like being on a podcast. It's one thing when you're just sitting there talking, making fun of people, and they don't really realize maybe they don't realize your Twitter feed is a broadcast, but this feels more like a show.
Yeah.
And they're sort of like, ooh.
Well, it's funny. Sometimes at the cemetery, I'll come across spirits that don't want to be filmed.
Maybe you want to remind them that their image isn't being used.
Yeah, exactly. Just the headstone.
Just the headstone.
Just the headstone. But yeah, no, it happens.
It's the one thing that's different about this, as you guys know, when you watch John on his lives, he's passive. He only jumps in when something catches his ear or it gets personal, but otherwise he's talking to you guys. But I just started editing episode 10, which is it's going to be a few weeks away. But unknown. The fun thing about episode 10 is we are on the offensive.
Yeah.
We go in, we're like asking questions, threatening to kill. We try to kill ghosts. We try to kill a ghost with a real piece of shit degaussing magnet wand.
So funny.
It's funny, dude. It's like we don't know if it works or not, but it's like
it's so great.
It's just pretty funny. But it's the idea is there because this idea of if spirits are manipulating magnetic waves, a magnet might mess that up and mess them up. So, but
I know it shuts down channeling with the spirit board. It does. like if I do a spirit board and something crazy is coming through, magnets stop it from coming through. It's almost like it flattens it and like suppresses it. It's actually really wild.
That is something we'll have to test with maybe a better magnet, because I do want to go and attack ghosts again. But we had a good time in there doing it. It was pretty funny. Because it's very different than it's a very different episode. It feels like it's on location in the field, and we're like out there and we're like, we're coming for you, ghosts. We're coming for you. And it's like, we just try to go at them, and it's great. The way we do it. But yeah, so look, as we sort of close this episode out, we've got episode 8 dropping on Tuesday. Episode 8 is again with Kathy Nadal. You can find her at CatWitchNYC on social.
Shiver.
And she's a professional psychic medium with the Forever Family Foundation, and she really has an experience in the fireplace room that specifically towards Edward. I think she really said, she sensed Edward. She sensed Edward in the office. She knew I think she called him out there. And then she really feels what's going on in the fireplace room. And it really shows that, okay, these spirits are there, according to this medium. And John is talking to him somehow. Dark Angel, you're asking me like Ghostbusters? Yes. Kind of like Ghostbusters, but in a really stupider way. That's how I would say it. That's kind of how we went at it.
No proton packs.
A $16 degaussing wand I bought off Amazon. That got really hot and probably would have set the place on fire if we accidentally plug it in. But
it got really hot.
It got really hot, dude. It was like, so stupid.
So you know what was really stupid? The one piece of information that we should have looked up that we did not, with that wand and all degaussing rods. Do they get hot if they are not demagnetizing anything? That's what we should have looked up, because then if they're not supposed to get hot, even the cheap ones, unless you're using it properly, then maybe it was working and we just had no idea. We're just calling it a cheap piece of shit, but in reality, it's actually doing its job.
It's actually doing its job. Or we were damaging everybody's cable in the building.
Everybody's, regardless, we're ghost slayers.
Oh my God, so funny, man. Look, we're trying. We're just trying here, guys. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing. I made that very clear from the start. But I'm having a lot of fun doing it. We hope you're having fun doing it. Please follow, like, subscribe, splinteredspirits.com.
Yep.
What else? Can I be shameless? I'll be shameless. Guys, you want a t-shirt or a hat? Go for it. Splintered Spirits. Help us keep this podcast going.
Plug it in.
Over here. We're selling some stuff. Splinteredspirits.com.
And remember, if you want your story featured, you have an experience you'd like to talk about, even better if you got stuff to go with it, pictures, videos, submit it to splinteredspirits.com. We want to read it. We want to hear it.
There's a whole tab that says ghost stories. Click on the tab, enter your information. We see it. We look at it. We evaluate it. We'll talk about it. You might get on. We might get you on here. I think one day, now that this works, we might be able to actually have a bit of a guest.
Awesome.
We might be able to really have someone, talk to them as opposed to just telling their story. And or you might make a, Quickies with John skit. You might get some terrible advice from me. You don't know what you're going to get. But if you submit, we're going to have a lot of fun with this stuff. And it all leads to the bigger picture of what spirits are and trying to prove John's theory. But look, I think that's a wrap for today, my man.
Yeah.
I think we.
I like this new interface, but
yeah, it looks good, right?
It looks good.
Hopefully
the new interface.
Yeah, I think it's. I think this is good for the lives.
Yeah,
we'll stick with it. I'll see how the recordings look after we're done to make sure it plays.
Cool.
And you're saying it looks good on YT? People like it? All right.
Yeah, it's nice and big too.
Yeah.
It's nice and big. The other one wasn't as big. This is nice
Well,
and
in
big.
this
here.
you could set for vertical, and you can set it for it's like, which would be good for promos when we try to tear this up and drop stories and things like that.
Yeah, perfect. All right, my friends.
Guys, thank you so much. It's a pleasure as
thank you.
always for you to be here with us. We love the fact that you're listening.
Ooh. Gave it a couple extra 1/8 beats or whatever they in there. I heard that.
You know how we do here on Splintered Spirits.
That's it. Remix, baby.
Remix.
Little Everett.
Oh, it's coming.
Everybody.
Coming.
Thank you.
3.
Even Boxy's saying goodbye.
All right, y'all.